Evening guzzlers, my little giggies. Well, we're visiting Jamie again. Well, we're not visiting Jamie, obviously, where he lives. He don't want the likes of weeks like me turning up. What I mean is, we're visiting Jamie's recipes. And the wife wanted something not too heavy, low in calorie. So we're going to make a salad. We're going to make one of these salads. And this is his super veg salad. Super veg salad. Blankety blank, blankety blank. That'll be lost on motion now. And what we need for that is one large squash, or in this case, 2 small squashes. Now, what he suggests you do, we're going to cut them lengthways. I've got my oven preheated to 200. Is he says, shove your knife in, cut it through like that, and then take it out and shove your knife in that slit and go that way. But you might have to take the end off because you don't want to go through. Okay, and then we put it on a baking tray, and then we're going to bake it until it starts getting pretty soft. And don't worry about the seeds. They're like peanuts, he says. So, I'm a bit concerned because how long it's going to take to cook that. So I was toying with the idea of chunking it, but I'm not. I'm going to see how we go. Okay, so we're going to start by trying to roast it in that oven. Just like that. Just like that. Okay. Oh, get a time, I bet not. And you're probably going to need about 40 minutes at least with them. Possibly, I'm hoping it might be a little less. So I'm going to set my timer for 30 minutes. And I'm going to cook that. Now, I'll then tell you the other ingredients, some of which we can start preparing. Now, as a garnish, Jamie says use salted, roasted almonds. I can only find these whole almonds. So I'm chucking them in there. Too many in there. Still too many in there. Yep, definitely too many in there. Keep these raw. And what we're going to do with these, we're just going to pound them up in there. Not on there. We just want to crush these up, and there'll be our final garnish. Now, Jamie's super veg salad is a bit of mixture of hot and cold. So, in a minute, we're cooking our squash. We're also going to be cooking up some tender stem broccoli, some spring onions, little basil, trying to be straight, some spring onions, we're going to make some chunky croutons. Oh, and that's going to be drizzled with some olive oil, and that will go in the oven on top of that squash for a final cook for about 20 minutes. Try to spit it now. Disgusting, disgusting. And then we're going to make a dressing. I'll spat in there again. Good job I'm the one eating this and the wife don't tell the wife. You get for talking with a mouthful of nuts. So you're going to want a blender or a food processor. You want some fresh basil leaves, got them. Lemon, avocado, some water. Already mentioned olive oil. So we'll make a dressing. Did I mention baby spinach? Baby spinach, we're not cooking that. That will be the base of our salad. Hot ingredients on top. Dressing on top of that. Crushed nuts on top of that. Well, pretty much finished crushing my nuts. Or you didn't see. Or I thought, hang on, we're not actually adding any seasoning to this. So, given that he said use salty nuts, I've had a couple of generous pinches of the sea salt flakes. Well, that's gone in there. And there's a bit of a mixture of coarse and fine. So we just put that to one side, that's done. Now, where's the wine keep spilling from? It must be missing my gob. Now, with your tender stem broccoli, okay, I've got a pack there. What did he call it? Something weird. But what he's suggesting is you just take your knife and just slice it longitudinally. That's lengthways for you heathens. Okay. Because we're only going to be cooking this for about 20 minutes. Now if it's quite thin, just leave it as it is. But some of these are a little bit thicker. Okay. And so, like I say, they go in later once that squash is cooked. Now I'm not going to start preparing the dressing just yet. I'm just going to get this veg done. So, actually, I'll chop the ends off of these. Don't think I did. Where's Neil? So I'm just going to go through and finish doing this broccoli. That's my broccoli done. So my spring onions, I've already sort of trimmed the outer leaves off, trimmed the tops off. And all we're going to do is just take the tops off, bottoms off, and then the roots off. Okay. And we're leaving them whole. To be honest, actually, I might split them. Oh, I don't know. I'm just thinking to myself, given the thickness of the broccoli, would I be better with some of these? Not that one, because it's too bloody thin. With some of these, actually, and not this one, too bloody thin. I might split some of these down the middle, actually. And then we're going to be all ready. Get this out of the way. Might leave that one there. Yeah, I think I might split some of these spring onions. He doesn't do it, he just puts the whole ones in. But who knows? Who cares? What am I going for? Oh yeah. So the only other thing that we're going to do that's going in the oven is our croutons. So your broccoli's prepared, my spring onions prepared. Now I've got some bread. Now this happens to just be sourdough with olives in it. We want about 200 grams of that. And we want to cut this quite generous chunks. Okay. There's about 300 grams worth here. I might eat that bit in a minute. And what he's suggesting you're doing is just chopping this, like I say, into generous, about inch cubes. Some of them are a bit bigger than an inch cube, but who gives a shit. Okay, so these are not your tiny little, oops, spit, that'll stop eating bloody nuts. That bit's full on. Yeah, we're having nice chunky croutons. Actually, I might, no, that's all right. Actually, I might just take that one down a bit. And then, like I say, that pretty much is all the stuff. I'm going to get some butter out in a minute and eat some bits. That is pretty much the remaining cooked ingredients. Now you can need some olive oil or vegetable, don't really matter, does it? And then the baby spinach, which I've washed, like I washed this broccoli in it. The baby spinach, but like I say, that's not being cooked. They're the cooked ingredients with the squash. So you want a ripe avocado, lemon. Now, I'm going to vary this with, Jamie just said take the juice. I'm going to take the zest off to give it that little extra zing. Okay, some basil leaves. And that's it. Oh, and I'll check on my squash, and although I've got 10 minutes left, I'm going to give that a bit longer. Now, just remember we're dealing with Jamie here. And Jamie's like, get your hands in there, put my gloves on. So, A plate's probably going to be too small. He does it on his light chopping board, which is a bit bigger than what I've got here anyway, but who cares? So I'm just going to put the croutons, or the croutons to be, on there, and then we're just going to, I think that's going to be too small. So what I might do is move that on there, and now we want to drizzle over that some olive oil. Wait, see, look, I've already spilt some of that. And then, as Jamie says, we're just going to sort of massage that through. Told you it's going to be too bloody small, didn't I? Get back on here, you little shite. Where did that bit of bread go? Oh, no, it's spring onion. Oh, I better be careful, that's got on the bottom of my wine glass. Whoop! Slip out my hand, don't want to do that, do I? So, don't you dare, you little fuck. I think what I might do actually is just leave that, and then when we come to put it onto the squash, give it a little bit of a massage then. So that's ready to go. Better pick that oily stuff off the floor. Off on the missus for that. Got about 3 minutes or so to go. That's looking nice now. It's definitely softened. Like I said, I gave it that extra time, but remember we're going to have another 20 minutes in the oven with that lot on it. That's out of the oven now. It's getting as soft around there. The middle bit there, not quite there, but remember what I said. Just got the wrong glove on for this one. What we're going to do now is take that olive oil sort of, I wouldn't say soaked. Don't go on there, please. I've just cleaned that down. Just going to put this over the top of. Oh, shit. That hobbit's clean. Don't do that to me. Just going to sprinkle this on top. And the idea now is that this is now going to go back in that oven. Don't bloody go everywhere, you little shit. What we want to do is get a bit. We want to get a little bit of, well, we want it cooked as such. When it's softened up, ooh, touch that baking tray. But equally, want a bit of charring. Get a bit extra flavour. Woo! Making a bloody mess here. Let me get that glove off for a minute. We want a bit of charring. Oh, the little shite went down there. Where did you come from, you little bugger? So in Jamie's word, because he got it all over his board, we're now going to whack that up in the oven, and now it's time to have a bit of a clear down. But I've sort of had a clear down because I kept it a bit cleaner than Jamie. Let's move that back on there before it drips everywhere. So back in the oven, still at 200, and we're going to give that about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to give that 20 minutes because that squash wasn't quite there, but we need to keep an eye. We don't want that broccoli burning. We just want a hint of char. Let's just have a little clean up here. That'll do for on. And we're now getting ready to make our dressing, which of course we can always shove in the fridge until we're ready. Now, Jamie doesn't do this, but I'm going to extra little bit because the old outside of that, the zest of that, that's got the oils in it. So we're just going to zest that lemon just to get that little extra bit of zing, or lemony flavour. I don't know about zing. It's not so much citrusy, is it? Or rather acidic. So I'm just going to do that. In that goes. You want about 100 mils of water. In that goes. You want about 2 tablespoons of the oil. That'll do. about 5 basil leaves. You don't have to put basil in if you don't want to. That's sort of semi-optional. And then we're going to take our lemon. Now we don't want pips in it, so we're just going to squeeze that into our hands. I could have used my lemon, what's the juice, couldn't I? But I've got a bit carried away by Jamie. So we're just going to have that juice of that lemon in there. Minus the pips, you don't want the pips in it. Definitely would have been better using my lemon juicer, but never mind. And then the final thing you want to do is we're going to put the flesh of 1 avocado in there. Wants to be a nice ripe avocado. Just get rid of that. Just wash my hands a minute. You ever do that with your hands? It's a bit like the top tip I did recently about using lemon juice with chilli. But there's something about the lemon juice that always makes you almost like handfuls. I thought it was a pip there. Get rid of that. Don't want that going in there by mistake. Now I've got my hand in here. Oh look, my glove's still there. Get rid of that thing. Dirty little bastard. Now, with the avocado, we'll just slice it all the way around. Okay. And that should come out nice and easy. Get rid of that stone. Okay. And then what he suggests you do, that is a nice one. Literally, you just squeeze it, and if it's nice and right, look, that flesh just squeezing out of it. Get in there, okay? And that is going to be your dressing. I'm trying to make sure he does it in a big food processor. This is quite a narrow neck on this, so I'm trying to do it so it don't go everywhere. Oh, I've got nice avocado skin. So anyway, I'm just going to wash up and then we're going to blitz that together. So I'll put the blades on, and like I say, we now want to blitz this up so it's just a nice smooth dressing. Here we go then. So there you go, that's our nice thick dressing. So I'll put that to one side. Now Jamie does it on a great big cutting board and he does the whole salad in one, but obviously we're not going to do that. So I'm just going to take some of our freshly washed baby spinach, and I'm just going to, I say freshly washed, I washed it earlier. Just going to lay a little bed of that down. Okay. And like I say, this, we're not cooking this, but to some extent, when we start putting the hot ingredients on it, that's going to hopefully wilt it down a little bit. Might as well use all that, it's quite a bit there, isn't it? Okay, so that's then ready to go. I've been checking on me what's name, it's had just over 15 minutes. Some of the croutons are starting to look quite nice and crispy. They're not obviously crisp all the way through because they're big chunky things, and the broccoli's starting to char. Got about 7 minutes left on there. Plenty of time to have a little guzzle. That's out of the oven now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, they're hot. Take off some of them croutons, and we're going to sprinkle croutons on top. Got another glove. Oh, this bloody recipe is half using some gloves. Whoop. Hot. Whoop. Now, we can always put some more of the croutons on top afterwards. But what we want to do, and if you notice some, they're now starting to get a nice bit of charring on that. We want to scoop out. I've done this the wrong handed, didn't I? Should have it that way around. Going to scoop out the flesh in like spoonfuls of that butternut squash, and we're just going to put chunks of that on top. I might have to get another glove on because I need to. And now, notice I'm picking up seeds with that. Don't worry about that. They should be nice and nutty. Okay, so all I'm going to do for the moment is I'm just going to carry on. And I might have to put another glove on or get myself another spoon. I'm just going to get all that butternut squash out, distributed evenly over the salad leaves. Now we're just going to take some of that broccoli and the spring onions, and we're going to sprinkle that on top and get them out of the way. Okay. I did notice, if you watch the video when Jamie makes it, he's like picking up with his hands, and you're thinking, isn't that a bit bloody hot to be straight out the oven like that? And then when he pours the dressing over, you can actually see it steaming. And you think, it wasn't steaming just now when he did that bit with it. So the remaining croutons I'm just going to distribute onto it. I think wiping at that one, she'll probably say, that one come when it... Oh, sorry, don't talk like that. I don't want too many croutons, thank you very much. Right, so that's that. Let's get rid of the glove and move on to the final stage and eating it. So, what we're now going to do is take some spoonfuls of this dressing, which I haven't tasted yet. Actually, I don't know what it's going to be like. And we're just going to drizzle that over the top. And then our final thing will be our little garnish of them nuts. And this, essentially, apart from the fact that I added the lemon zest, is Jamie's super veg salad. Blank it. Again, that's probably lost on all of you lot, but who cares? So, that's just about all of that. Give it a little taste. So now, we're going to take... Which one was the white? I can't remember which one. I think this was the white. So now we're just going to add them nuts, bit of extra protein. Remember, these, I added some salt to these. I didn't add it to the bloody four, thank you. Jamie Jamie used roasted, salted nuts. Okay. There we have, essentially, a nice vegan salad. So here we go. Well, I'll do it around the right way. So, let me try and grab, I've got a bit of spinach there, a bit of butternut squash, a bit of the dressing, crouton, or missing, or broccoli and whatever. So, you've got the zing of the lemon, creaminess from the avocado, crispy outer of the crouton, with a nice soft centre, a little bit of nuttiness. Let me just grab a bit of broccoli, bit of spinach. Let's see what the bit without the croutons like. Do apologise. Broccoli's tender but al dente, so not too soft. I think actually there's a bit of spring onion in there. Right. Very nice, Jamie. Jamie's super veg salad. Not sure what else to say. Oh, that's even some packed full of flavour, texture, nutrition. Got to give it a go. Your super veg salad, alright geezers?